Chair, and then Denise, Chair of our Spiritual Formation, will come and introduce our speaker.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker for this evening, Dr. Paige Lopez Burrows, known as Dr. P. Dr. P. Dr. Lopez, known as Dr. P, is a Christian mother, a wife, and a strong advocate for whole person health. She is a lifestyle medicine educator, health and wellness coach, and an experienced doctor of medicine who currently serves the community as the founder of Wellspring Lifestyle Group, creating specialized tools rooted in faith-based principles and evidence-based medicine. Focus on the root cause, utilizing a mind, body, and spirit approach. Our goal is to provide clients with the support they need as ultimate strategies for success in generating sustainable, life-altering change. She is happily married to Alexis Burrows and the proud mother of 2 children, Scarlett and Asha. She understands firsthand the demands of balancing family, career, and personal well-being. However, it was her own personal health challenges that reshaped her professional journey, leading her on a search for a deeper understanding of the root cause of illness and what it means to be truly well. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in biology from Dalhousie University before completing her medical degree at the University of the West Indies, the St. Augustine campus in Trinidad in 2016. She then began a career in hospital-based medicine from 2016 to 2022 at Princess Margaret Hospital. During this time, she found herself drawn to patients with complex presentations who were difficult to treat via the solely traditional means. That draw, combined with a search for solutions for her own health, led her to shift gears, focusing on holistic, evidence-based lifestyle interventions. Armed with a lifelong passion for reducing human suffering, she spent the last few years studying, healing, and helping others do the same under the banner of Wellspring Ministries. Her journey into whole person health was enhanced in 2024 when she successfully completed the American Board of Lifestyle Medicine, becoming certified in lifestyle medicine. In addition, she is on a mission of advocacy for a 3-legged stool while person approach, whole person approach, a 3-legged stool, whole person approach to healthcare, where when possible, lifestyle is used as medicine, as a complement for alternative medicines and procedures. Dr. P spends her free time with her family and serving in her local church. I present to you Dr. P. All right, everyone. Good evening. Is everybody fine? Okay, I'm really happy to be here today. I love women. I love groups like this. I love the bond that are shared in community groups like this. And this is a topic that's really near and dear to my heart. Managing stress and building resilience. Any one of you ladies are familiar with that feeling of stress? Okay, everyone. So I like to start with this scripture
and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. 3 John 1, chapter 1, verse 2. So I'm going to start with a little story. This is a lady. Let's call her Sarah. Okay? Middle-aged lady with common stressors. This first one. She's getting up there in age. She's close to retirement, but she's still working. She's still working. She's not retired yet. Her job is stressful. She's out here with the youngins still going out and about in this corporate space. And it's getting toxic on her body. On top of that, Sarah just got a diagnosis from her doctor. You know, now Sarah's diabetic and it's stressing her out. She's not happy with this. We can see on her face. She's not pleased. In addition to that, we can see Sarah got a little bit of pain. It's slowing her down. Her grandkids are outside. She wants to run. She wants to play with them, but she's young. It's a little rough. She's painful and she's tired. Okay, she has a lot to figure out, but not a lot of time. Anyone can relate to Sarah a little bit, maybe a little bit. Okay, but this one here is Janissa. I'm gonna call it Janissa. She late 30s, early 40s. She's a career girl. She's getting out there into the world. She's making her money. She has a little toddler running around. She might be me. Little toddler boy running around. And she's struggling to balance the career and the family life. And it's challenging to her. One is pulling from the other. She doesn't know what to give to what. And then all of a sudden now she's starting to experience trouble when she's digesting her food. Like she eat her meals and it hurts. She don't understand why she getting these little sensations, tummy. On top of that, her husband, he just stressing her out. Like he don't know what to say. Okay? Every time that they talk, it seems like he's inconsiderate. He's saying the wrong thing. She is easily triggered. And then when he starts speaking, now all of a sudden her chest starts hurting a little bit. She don't know how to deal with this anymore. Her emotional capacity is very low. Nobody can try her. At this point, everyone will get it if they try her. And she's trying to figure out why the things that she used to be able to handle, she can't manage it anymore. What about her? Anybody ever been there? Maybe you've been there. So, what is stress? Well, it's the body's natural response to situations and circumstances that are challenging to the body. We have acute stresses. This is a type of stress that, it just happened. Your body's gonna calm down. Someone cut you off in traffic. You're gonna get over that. That's acute. Okay. Maybe even something more serious. All right. But the point is your body's gonna experience that stress and it's gonna come down. You also have like episodic stress, right? Like who has a stressful job? Maybe you career in healthcare or law, or you deal with big clients, or you've done that in the past. Anybody have a stressful job or had a stressful job? Yeah, stress. Like if you get to that point at work, like the head is shaking over here. But there are some moments at that job where it's a high stress time. Okay, like the patient in front of you is dying. I've been in that situation. Some of us working in healthcare, we might have been in that situation. You got a big client. This is a season of busyness. It's a season of stress. That's the episodic. It comes and it goes and it's fine. The problem is that third one, that chronic stress, where it's been weeks, it's been months, and you're still feeling that pull of the stressful response on your body. Some of us know exactly what it feels like and know how that start of stress begins to feel inside of our body. So stress isn't inherently bad, but it's supposed to come and go. It's not supposed to sit and be chronic. So when it's that chronic stress to a challenging situation, we have multiple types. We got the distress, that's the bad one that we do not want. This is the type of stress that overwhelms the person. It leads to anxiety, it leads to burnout, and it leads to health issues. And it occurs when the demands of your life exceed your ability to cope with your own life. Now, stress isn't all bad. We also have the eustress. This is the good stress. This is the kind that causes us to create, the kind that causes us to achieve, and causes us to be resilient. So why should we care to manage stress? Isn't everyone go through it? Like, why do we care anyway? Well, 75% of visits to the doctor are related to stress-related ailments. 43% increase of premature death risk is noted in individuals who are chronically stressed. The American Psychiatric Association in 2023, this is the post-pandemic portion of the world, noted that chronic illnesses increased from 48 to 58% in persons aged 35 to 44 years old. So that's a big jump. Mental health diagnoses also increased 31 to 45% in the same demographic. I don't know if y'all feel that people have a little bit more mental issues than they used to, but if you do feel that way, it's true. Okay, mental illnesses also present 50% of persons ages 18 to 34. So that's a lot. That's a lot. So how does it happen? How do we go from having psychological stressor, okay, to being like sick? Okay, we're gonna explore that a bit. All right, so we have to explain now how, in order to get that, we have to see how our body typically responds. So we can be in a fight or flight mode. Some of us may also be familiar with like freeze or fawn responses to stress as well. So fight or flight. You see this girl here on the left. She is facing the saber-tooth tiger, but the saber-tooth tiger today is not the saber-tooth tiger yesteryear, ancient times. The saber-tooth tiger today is your bills. Is that retirement fund you're trying to get together. It is the marital stress. It is interpersonal stress. It's you dealing with your own negative thoughts and feelings. It feels like it's coming for you, like it's attacking you. Your body's preparing for that. It's your heart rate is speeding up, getting to pump more blood around the body. Your muscle tendon is getting ready to fight, but it's getting ready to flee. Or maybe you freeze. You paralyze. Some animals do that, right? They freeze and they say, I'm doing nothing. No one getting nothing out of me because I am overwhelmed. I'm stressed. Or you form to play dead. You see what I'm saying? You start to compromise and try to, small up yourself, as they say, and compromise and do anything you can to cope with the situation. So your body is physiologically changing in order to adapt to this. Well, it doesn't know the difference between your pills and the saber-tooth tiger. In its internal world, the tiger is here and you have to survive. Okay? And that's how your body is experiencing these issues of life, the cares of this world. What we want to get to though is that rest and digest portion. That's the part in charge. The first part was in our sympathetic nervous system was in charge. And we want to get to that point where sometimes we're repairing and we are healing and we're in that rest and digest mode for our sympathetic. See this girl over here? She's looking like she's at peace. She's okay. Things are going wrong around her, but she's pulling it. She is chilling. Okay, so we want to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. When the saber-tooth tiger is coming, when it is coming, there is no need to digest food. Okay, we're turning that off. We're turning off our digestion of food. So you're gonna get those digestive issues when you're chronically stressed. We don't need moisturized skin and what you need after it's attacking you. The skin's gonna get dried up. Your immune system is gonna dysfunction because what do we care about that for right now? So there's a lot of issues if your body cannot go into that repair mode, that rest and digest, that peaceful mode. So what's the impact of chronic stress? Like I was saying, if your body gets stuck in that space, I don't know if anyone has ever been experiencing some of these, but allergic skin reaction, chronic constipation, chronic pain that just won't go away. You develop diabetes, dizziness, heart problems, just like arrhythmia, angina, that's the chest pain. Heartburn, you get high blood pressure, infertility, and some of the irritable bowel syndrome. Menopausal symptoms can get even worse, like hot flashes. You can have chronic fatigue, and also PMS can occur or even be worsened. You also can have a lot of trouble sleeping, which fundamentally leads to even more issues. So how do we know that our body is in a chronic stress mode anyway? Can anyone tell if their body has a chronic stress picture? Like when you're stressed and it's not turning off? I was kind of aware of their situation like that. I've learned my situation, my triggers. So what about stiff or tense muscles? of the neck. And this is like, it's like a name going away, like your neck been stiff for 2 years. Like, anybody else? Yes? Okay, so that's a chronic stress symptom. Tired all the time, heartbeat that's just a little bit too rapid, shakiness or tremor, even just profuse sweating, raining up the air, that's a last one. Dizziness or fainting spells that nobody understands. Grinding of the teeth, and then when you grind the teeth, you don't realize you get this chopping. It's like this little pain in here, and it's like, why? Why is that pain? Well, sometimes kids, it depends on the age. See that pediatrician right there. It depends on the age. They might be soothing some gums, but for us, we might clench our jaws like the muscles are tensing, they're preparing for war. Even though it is that just that our boss is carrying on very, very silly at this time. Okay? The stomach issues, like I say, we're not resting and digesting. Okay? We're stressed. And restlessness, you ever see people that just, and then you find they can't stop, the leg is shaking. This is the kind of things that you start to notice these symptoms in your physical body. But what about the symptoms that occur, these emotional warning signs, behavioral or cognitive, how we learn, understand, comprehend? You might end up with anxiety, too much stress, anxiety, depression, anger, quick temper. Like I say, anybody can get it if they even driving too slow. You try to shout at them with your windows up and your AC on, they're not gonna hear you. Okay? You're overly critical, crying all the time, no sense of humor, indecisiveness, loneliness. You try to get that creative project going and you just can't. You have no creativity. You want to concentrate, but you cannot. You try. You can't think through things at all. And life doesn't have any meaning, purpose, like what I here for, what we here for, what I do. If you start to see and feel these signs, it might say, okay, I need to take stock of my life and say, I need to stress practice because I don't want the repercussions of chronic stress to come in my life. That cortisol is surging, that fight or flight is on. Okay, and we need to switch up those hormones and those neurochemicals now to get you the good ones, all right? The ones that are going to repair us and keep us away from disease. So, anyone ever seen this book? The Body Keeps the Score. This is a really good book. This is a book that a psychiatrist, a very, very well-renowned psychiatrist wrote. And what it helps us understand is the way that our mind and bodies are connected and how it's a cycle, like one affects the other. So you can have psychological stress that's going to cause you physical symptoms and even physical symptoms that cause psychological stress, okay? And sometimes we have stressors from the inside, from the outside, from the food we eat, the chemicals they put in, our body perceiving it all as stress, okay? You have to have a way to deal with that because there's only so much the system will take before it cracks, okay? Before you get sat down, all right? So we're tripartite beings, right? We body, mind, and spirit, right? So the mind, body, mind, and soul. So the soul, we understand that, right? That's our mind, will, and emotions. And so we need to understand that we're a whole person. So when someone's sitting up in your office and their pressure's through the roof and you have them on 4 different pills, you might need to talk to them about what's going on in your life. That fourth one, mom, you should have done it. The fourth one, after we got up to the highest dose, because like, what? No, we need to talk about what is going on in your life that's driving this process. When the sugar won't fix, when the cortisol goes up, that releases that sugar into your bloodstream. When you don't sleep, that releases that sugar into your bloodstream. That diabetes isn't going to get under control. And so this is why the whole person health model is one that's near and dear to my heart because you really, really, really need to understand the connectivity between all of these things so you could get to the bottom of it. You ever hear people reversing their diabetes? Anybody ever met anyone who used to have diabetes? Used to have it. It is definitely a thing. And definitely can be done. And it's not that much time either. But you have to attack yourself as a whole, entire human being. Body, mind, spirit, there are ways to do it. disciplined, and even if you don't reverse it, you can get off like 2 medications. That would change things a bit. Medications have side effects and stuff, and we need when our numbers are high, and we on death door, we can need that thing. We can need that doctor, we can need that medication. But if you can get yourself stable and put some of these things into practice, you will find that you can change your life and shift even those past traumas, those past issues that have contributed to the stress that's wearing on your body today. Because just because you didn't deal with it back in the day, don't mean that it's not still sitting and wearing. And I know this all too well because this is me. This is me. I have had the mind-body connection catch up with me more than one time. You know, I had a 2009, I was living my best life, achieving my goals, coming out of college, and boom, just past circumstances in my life just decided to come flooding back to me. I'm trying to figure out how to get to medical school. I am achieving life, but not like noticing signs that my body needs to rest, my mind needs to rest, I might need to let some things go. The chronic stress catches me. I get a migraine, and the migraine is going on for 7 days straight. 7 days straight to the point where I feel like I'm screaming and holding my head. I show up to my little job at the time, and I cannot go. They take me over to walk-in clinic, shine light in my eyes, and that's it. Seizures. I'm hospitalized for 5 days. Blind for maybe about 15 minutes, and couldn't move one side of my body. I was a young woman at that time. I said, well, what happened to me? They ended up putting me on seizure medication. So they think the stress caused the migraines that caused everything else that happened. And that was my first introduction to how serious it could be if you don't deal with your life and put some things into practice. Now, that was back then. I ended up having a nice year of healing. I went on to medical school. Life was good, okay? Life was good. We were going, and saying, no, just keep pushing through. Don't worry about this, one surgery. Don't worry about that, another surgery. Well, 5 surgeries in 5 years later, and a hospital career that's going well. I'm doing everything I want to do. I'm married. I have my beautiful daughter. 3 weeks in, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, okay, I made it. 3 weeks after that COVID, I have another seizure. But I remember that from back in the day. I ended up on Lake Road.
Excuse me, could I just interrupt for a moment?
Sure.
There's some vehicles that are blocking, vehicles that are parked. If you know you're driving and you drop someone in, if you don't mind to move, please.
Silver Suzuki in the block. I am making
Thank you.
the hand on the side.
So I'm at that particular point in my life where I am just run upon brakes, and this is the second time, and both times I seem to be at a high point in life, and I'm having up to 10 seizures a day at this point, hospitalized. Like I said, 5 surgeries in 5 years, and at this point I feel like I gotta learn a little lesson in how to slow down. I don't know if anybody ever been stopped dead in their tracks in life and say, you know, you were going, and you've been stopped. Where it was like your body was telling you, but you just didn't listen. And then you were sat down. That happens. That's a bad thing. We should be able to warn each other. Hey, sister, you can have to slow down, and life will slow you right down. Okay? So we want to live, we have purposes, we have families that we want, we have legacies. And so this is why this is important to me, because this stress thing takes people out, and it takes them out of you. Okay? So how did I get over this stuff? Like, how did I get from the bed there, being extremely sad, to well, feeling fine today? Building resilience. Okay? This is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, stress, or significant portions of stress. You see, it wasn't just the fact that I got COVID. Because some of y'all get COVID, y'all was fine, right? Like y'all had it, and like it was bad, but then it was okay. Y'all moved on with y'all life. Y'all wasn't sick for a couple years. No, right? But some of us were. Some of us that happened to. And so it wasn't just about getting COVID. It was about the body COVID met. You see, that chronic stress caused chronic when that virus came to me, I had nothing. I couldn't fight that thing, okay? There was no reserves. My immune system was like, no, we can't do this. We have had enough, you know? And so for some people, that's a type of scenario. The immune system shuts down. You can have an autoimmune disease, which is what long COVID is kind of like, an autoimmune disease. And for other people, they know other ones, lupus, you know? For some, it goes to cancers. And so we have to take this thing pretty seriously and build some resilience. Now, the good thing is that just like how I said that all these negative things can happen, when the stress comes on, and your brain can change, and your body can change, and it can make you sick. Similarly, it can reverse, okay? You can reverse. So anyone ever heard about neuroplasticity? So I'll tell you about, definitely heard about neuroplasticity. There's adaptive structural and functional changes to the brain after internal or external insult. So this is like the neurons of your brain, the wires, the actual connections that make you, well, you, it makes you you. These connections can change and shift in order to make us think certain ways, have certain behavioral patterns. Science used to think that this was stuff, like when you were a child, whatever happened to you, that's you. If you're anxious, you're anxious. If you're depressed, that's just you, okay? It wasn't genetics, that's just you. But now we know that there are things that you can do to literally rewire your mind. The Bible talks a little about this. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of the mind, so that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So this renewal of the mind, a lot of persons believe that this is neuroplasticity, that God is literally telling us what science is telling us now, that we already knew, that we can transform our actual minds and become new people. And for some people, when they go through these processes, they find that their diseases kind of slip away. They don't have it anymore. Okay? So how do we renew our mind? Brain health and mind renewal strategies. Brain health. Okay, so when we look at the brain, it's an organ like anything else, like a kidney. The organ needs to be in good condition, all right? If you want to play beautiful melodies, if you want to make amazing music, that might be a life decision, that might be a fun and full life, all right? The organ, basically the thing that you live in, the instrument that you are using has to be functioning. Right now, the brain, the actual brain, the tissue, the organ, has to be functioning well. Even if you have all the tools in the world, if that brain is not functioning well, you're not going to produce that beautiful melody. Similarly to, like an organ, if you don't fine tune that instrument, doesn't matter how good of an expert player you are, it's coming out sounding terrible. Okay, so how do we keep that organ fine tuned? These are the 6 pillars of health. This is the basis of lifestyle medicine: nutrition, physical activity, stress management, relationships, social connections, restful, restorative sleep, avoidance of risky substances. For nutrition, what you want to focus on is whole foods. So try to avoid the processed foods. Whole foods is just it grew up out of the earth. Okay? It has minimal changes from the time that it grew up to the time that it reached your mouth. You want to focus on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, okay, legumes in their most pure and natural states. All right, you want to get the organic form if you can. And these foods are going to have all the nutrients that you need. They're going to take care of that oxidative stress. They're going to help you out in your healing process, get rid of that chronic inflammation that also leads to chronic stress. Physical activity, going to release those great hormones and neurochemicals that you need to fight and transform. Stress management strategies that I'm going to tell you about. Relationships are critical. Healthy social connections. That's the deep ones, not the casual ones like how you doing, just blessed and highly favored. I don't mean that. I mean like find out what happened to her, like she missing from church, like call her and say, what's going on in the gossipy thing now? You tell everybody what happened. Like call her and see exactly what's going on. Like I care about you. Let's talk. Let's get some tea. Let's get some coffee together. Let's bond. And that literally will add years to your life or life to your years. Isolation kills, okay? Restorative sleep. That's a whole next topic for a whole next day. But you want to try to get 7 to 9 hours of restorative move in repair mode, take it serious. That sleep issue. Your body doesn't sleep, it goes under chronic stress, it's gonna be almost impossible to get your conditions under control. Avoid risky substances, because who needs the toxins while we try to eat? We don't really need it, okay? So these are the things that I had to do when I found myself running up on brakes, especially that little bout in 2021, where I was on my back, trying to repair myself and my health. This some of the meals I had. So this was like, okay, this was curry, lentils with brown rice and cabbage and zucchini dressing. And I tell you that it tasted good. That was just the curry chicken, okay? I'm not playing you. I like food. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It tastes good. Husband.
That's great.
Okay. This became, I created with air fried kale, pretend it's chips. Pretend it's chips. I found that you could put some things in your juicer because you need that high concentration of nutrients to give yourself the building blocks to heal, right? Put my fruits and vegetables in that juicer. Now some of them the ratio was a little off initially, it tastes like grass and it was painful. But later on I learned like the correct ratios to put things in, but I don't have too much sugar, I got a good amount of vegetables, and I started to see myself transform. So this is the pedometer that I'm super proud of with my 10,957 steps, because I couldn't walk for 2 steps before I walked, when these things were going on. So when I hit that 10,000 steps, I just felt like you couldn't say nothing to me at that particular point. So this was husband here trying to show me support on my healing journey, and then that's me again, Zellen. I'm chilling because we're just gonna be stressed. At this point, it almost taken me out twice, so I'm chilling. And so these are some of the strategies that I have to use to really, really impact my health. Now, I was whole food, plant-based. I dropped some weight. I was feeling good, but then all of my symptoms and all go away. So I say, hold on, man. I put my fast food aside and everything, and it's not perfect. Like, how am I not 100% back to myself? And that's when God started to reveal to me, there's more to this healing thing than even just food. We got more. So that was the health strategy. But what about this? Did you address this thing right here? Okay. And so there's a ton of strategies, okay, that are there in science to employ. And every last one of these here I use all the time. But I only got time to tell you all the 4 high yield ones today. And we're gonna try them out too, together. So you can go home and try these when everyone's trying you, or when the bill's coming up, or, look, I just had enough and I will pretend like other people in my house don't exist. These are the things that you're gonna do and try to get into your life every day. They're gonna have impacts on your blood sugar. They're gonna have impacts on your blood pressure. They're gonna have impacts on chronic pain for the better, okay? And they're gonna have those racing thoughts that keep you up. They're gonna have impact on that too. And you're gonna find that you're responding instead of reacting when people come at you, which is a gift, all right? And so breath work, mindfulness, meditation, and gratitude practices are 4 clinically proven things to assist you in managing stress and clearly dealing with your life. Now, breath work. Who practices breath work here? Like purposeful breathing. Anybody? Oh, yay. Okay, good. This is your first line of defense. So when you have that acute stress, like, for example, you have to speak and your kid have exams and everybody is hungry, like that. I'm talking about myself. But when you have that type of an issue, you need something to do right now because you can't change the situation, but you don't want that stuff weighing in on your body, right? So that's the first line of defense of acute stress is your breathing. And this is gonna activate that parasympathetic nervous system that we talked about, the rest and digest, and take you out of that fight or flight. Okay, so you can attack that, you could do this with an anxiety attack. Bring it down for those who are familiar with anxiety. Relieve those stress symptoms and neck. that ringing in the ears, a little bit of pain and tension and other things that we experience. Get stabilized blood pressure over time, lower that heart rate when you feel that even prevent strain during workouts, which is great. That's going to increase your exercise tolerance. And so breath work is one of those things. We're gonna try it, right? Let's try it. So everyone sitting comfortable, sitting up straight. Let's take one arm and put it on our chest, the next arm put it just on our rib cage, okay? Lower rib cage, okay? So that's your upper tummy. And so take a breath. I see a lot of chest movement. Chest shouldn't be moving. I mean, it's shallow. You say a good breath. A good breath is when your tummy moves out and not your chest. So, and you start to see that tummy puff up. That's your diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing. It takes a few tries to get it. Mom in the flower dress, you doing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like yours. Now, I want the breath to go in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay, so the other thing about this is that not only do you have to go in through the nose and out through the mouth, but I want to breathe it to the count of 4 through the nose and to the count of 6. In fact, let's push it. Let's go to 8. I don't know what it calls. But 4 in and 8 out. When we do it slow on the out, we're even further activating that parasympathetic nervous system. So let's try it 3 times. We go 1, 2, 3. Okay, it feels a little bit more peaceful. Just a little bit more peaceful. If you get it right, and you do that for a few minutes a day, especially when you get a stressor, number one, you get a pause. Because if someone say something off to you, and you do them 3 little breaths, it gives you time to react properly and not, blast them in that kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? But it gives you that moment to think. And it also starts to shift your internal world. Now, breath work is like a base, right? That's where you start off. That's a quick thing you can do. You could go longer. But let's add to this thing a little bit more and add meditation onto this. Anybody, when they say meditate on the word, do you do that as meditate on the word? Or do you just kind of think about it like, I just think about what I read. Meditative practice. Anyone with a meditative practice? Okay, there we go. So there's a difference between reading it and just giving it a little thought than like deeply meditating on it and putting it into your actual self. Like you're using it to, it's a bad word, but psych out yourself. Okay? That's what you're using it to do. You're almost brainwashing yourself a little bit with the word, because as you say it over and over and think deeply upon it, it will become a part of you and it will enter your neural circuitry and then it will influence your decision making. You understand what I'm saying? That is how it scientifically transforms the mind. May my meditation be pleasing to him as I rejoice in the Lord. Psalm 104, verse 34. So this is that deep thinking. It trains the mind to focus. As you're trying to meditate on the word, you know what happens? What happens when you try to meditate on the word, like for real, in real life? Who could tell me? Like if you sit down and you purposefully say, okay, I think it only about this thing. You can't just literally everything on earth pop back into your head. What the meditative practice does, it's like going to the gym for your mind. It causes your mind to train, to stick on one thing only. And when you do that, and you do it over and over and over again, your brain is going to make that permanent. And all your thoughts, feelings, and decisions are going to go through that, meaning that you ain't even know more at this point. You're somebody else who is deeply influenced by this thing that is bringing you peace, that is changing your internal world, your physiology. And one form of that meditation is prayer, scripture meditation.
There's a lot of different types. Another one I like is walking meditation. The Bible tells us that Jesus liked to spend time in nature, and he tells us to do it. So you could pray in nature. They used to like to do that. Well, experiencing awe, like the awe of creation, is another one of those things that rewires the mind. So Jesus was trying to tell us how to stay alive at this point. It is like the word of God is a preservative for us to keep us generally well and healthy, mind, body, and spirit. If we were to take some of these things like literally, science backs them all up. Prayer is proven in science to decrease your blood, lower your cortisol levels, which can help you with blood pressure management, blood sugar management, and so this goes far. It's not just necessarily a practice that's only helping your spirit. It is the spiritual practice literally impacting the physical world. Okay? And so, how many people are familiar with the Bible? Let's double up on this. Right here. No, I saw a hand up.
I use a Bible.
Oh, you're familiar with the Bible. So we're gonna run through this. Anyone suffer with sleep issues? Like you find it? Okay. If you haven't heard about the Bible, this is on YouTube. And it's really, really, really helpful for when you roll over in the middle of the night and that mind is just like, I don't want to sleep. I said no. Okay? You can command control over your mind. So let's follow this quick video.
Breathe out all the worries of the day and breathe in the comfort presence of God's Holy Spirit. Let tension leave your body as you dwell with God, certain that He loves you and is with you now, as well as all through the night. With God, everything begins afresh. The old has gone, the new is here. Let those thoughts permeate every inch of your being.
So this could go on like they have videos that go on all through the night, maybe an hour, maybe 3 hours, but it will repeat the scripture, have you do your breath, and next thing you know, you're just in la la la. And this is when you woke up distressed or you're having difficulty falling asleep, and you're internalizing. And when those thoughts start rolling in, saying, "Oh, but did you lock the door? Oh, but what's that sound? Oh, but what time I have to wake up tomorrow? Oh, whatever." And each time you say, "No, no, I'm going to go back to scripture. No, I'm going to go back to," and that's training. That's the training. And so over time, you're going to see the impacts of this type of training. And I can tell you, I used to have that little thinking, running and sleeping 2 hours a night. Okay? And now it's just quiet in there. It's just quiet. It's chill, So this is a very powerful concept. Mindfulness-based stress reduction practices literally assist in treating a lot of chronic conditions, from chronic pain, diabetes, hypertension, to autoimmune disease. And this is really important because it goes even further and deeper into training the brain. Obviously, this includes some meditative practices. There are different ways to address the mindfulness. Some people will be familiar with, they have these Buddhist practices of mindfulness and things. We talk about that, okay? We are talking about simply just bringing your attention to the present moment. When you start to drift, you bring your attention back to the present moment. Now, the difference between this and some of the Buddhist practices are like, allow the thoughts to run through your mind like cars passing down the street, and don't judge it at all. No matter what it is, don't judge it. Empty your mind and just allow them to run. Well, some of us, when we allow our mind to run, it goes very negative, and for some people, it goes very dark. We don't want to do that. The Bible tells us to take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ, meaning that we like the thought police. So you are the CEO of Denise White Enterprises, okay? You are the CEO CEO of your own mind. Things shouldn't be allowed to just come up in here and just tell you what you're thinking about. No, you have to tell you what we are thinking about today. So, hey, you, no, we're not doing that. I'm going to make that thought obedient to Christ, and I'm going to stay in the moment. Anxiety likes to live in the future. Depression likes to live in the past. If we could just stay right here, appreciate this moment for what it is, we'd be a lot happier and a lot less stressed. A lot of them things in the past, we just cannot fix it. And a lot of those things in the future, well, I mean, we ain't rich yet. How we know to worry about that? And so we want to employ these mindfulness practices during thought examination, during our communication with other people. Like, stay in the moment. Don't scroll, don't think about what you're going to say next. Just listen. That one rough. When you're doing your self-care, be in that moment. When you're doing your relaxation, exercises, be in that moment. And what you're going to find is you're going to become a lot less reactive. You're going to have control over your thoughts. You're going to stop with the mind racing. That heart rate going to slow down. Blood pressure start to drop. You're able to fall asleep. You chill. You hold differently. Okay? If you have anxiety, that's going to go down. All the symptoms of it. Depression, that's going to go down. And you're going to improve your focus. Now, when we go into this chronic stress, we have a center in our brain called the amygdala. That's our section for fail. And then we have our prefrontal cortex where we have our learning, memory, and decision making. And what happens when you're stressed is that fail center, that just blows up and gets huge and takes over everything. And so you end up responding to everything with hypervigilance, hypersensitivity, and fail. And everything gets rooted through that. That your brain literally changes to be like that. And that's prefrontal cortex, where you learning, memory, all that starts to shift and get. When you have a mindfulness practice, you start to bring that good decision making portion back on stream, and that fear center starts to shut down, and we get a new sense of self. If you can now start small, but if you can do 45 minutes of mindfulness a day, that's from when you're eating, you're not on the phone, okay? You're eating, you're not on the phone. You're thinking about that food, how it tastes, how it smells, it's crunchy, and you're just like, you're trying to focus on what it is that you're doing. If you're talking to somebody, you're focused on exactly what it is that they're saying. You're trying to stay in the moment. If you're taking, a walk, you're like, what is that tree in the neighborhood? I've never seen that. What type of flower is that? Oh, the air feels good. Oh, this is feeling, and you start to become appreciative of life again. You start to be passionate. Okay? So, this is another clip. We on a walk together. Like, we have our tennis on and we strolling through this. This a park. Beautiful lady right there. Tell me what's your name? Bridget? Okay, lovely Bridget. We on the park together and we are just, you see it into my life, giving me wisdom. We walking and we talking, and then we start to have a mindfulness practice. Like, we walking on here, what do you think? You see what you looking at? What are you looking at along this path? Tell me what you see. You focus on this path. We looking around in this house around. You see trees. And what's the sounds that we hear? Birds. We hearing some birds. Maybe some wind. And what's the feeling on our skin? Like, how it feels? It ain't too hot today. It ain't too cold today. It's nice today. And what are we smelling? It's fresh. It's nice, And so when you out and you're taking a walk, that's what we doing. We appreciate God. We staying in that kind of when our mind says, oh gee, I wonder how my car doing, we're parking that last. No. Bring it back in, okay? And the more you do it, the less frequent those, and intrusive thoughts, as they call it, comes up. So this is a mindfulness practice, okay? Being present. So we could try that 45 minutes a day. Can we work up to that? We can work up to that. We can do it. This is the last high yield one. This one is really, really important. Gratitude practice. Now, we know that the scriptures tell us, rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances. So this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Okay? So God tells us to be grateful. In my studies, I couldn't believe it. They have study after study in Harvard and Yale and this on gratitude. And so they sit down, they journal, they go ahead, because what they want, decrease depression, anxiety, greater emotional functioning, increase life satisfaction, lower stress levels, stronger relationships, improved immunity and cardiovascular health. So these are the clinical changes that occur in people with daily gratitude practices. And it also, if you have a chronic illness, it decreases the negative psychological effects. So, beautiful. What's your name? What's that? Bianca. Give me 3 things you're grateful for. Health, strength, and one more. And life itself. What about you, lovely lady? What's your name? Stripe. Tanya, give me 3 things you're grateful for.
Family, health. Sort of, yes. And the gift of insight.
Sight. Yeah, I love that. You know, this is something that you could do in the form of journaling every day. You could call up a person and say, hey, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for what you are in my life. You can just pray gratitude prayers. So there's a variety of ways you can do it. But the point is that this is another thing that if you do it every day, and these things in combination and with each other, because I mean, who don't want to save time and do something together? Do it in combination with one another, you're going to see changes in your life. And that's exactly what I saw in my life. In May 2023, after having 5 surgeries in 5 years, uterus is not really working well. Fibroid situations, 2 myomectomies, that's taking out the fibroids, cysts on the ovaries and all these things, and the doctors say, Paige, we taking that thing out. You don't need that. That thing is not working. Okay? By 2023, I was pregnant with my little boy in the back there. Okay? This is after I already went to the chop shop multiple times. Okay? And the Lord was very gracious and kind to me. He got me to see and experience newness in my body to the tune of having a healthy pregnancy with my son, and even whereas my daughter, I was hospitalized 5 times to carry her 5 years earlier. I was hospitalized 0 times with the boy. And so this is the differences. And I was supposed to be high risk, I had been ill, and all these things, and I was fine. And so these are some of the things, like if it could happen for me, I think it could happen for you too. And so the next one is me, where I say, you know what, I'm going to shift gears, and I'm at the American College of Lifestyle Medicine conference and learning about how to use lifestyle, the way we live every day, as our medicine. And that's me and my baby girl at the conference, taking a picture in front of the little sign. But there is so much possibilities when you exist in this gratitude, when you stay in the present, when you meditate on the scriptures, when you use the breath. I mean, literally when we breathe, when you say, you know, many believe, and it probably is the truth, that sound, that Yahweh, that breath sound, that is literally you calling God's name every time you take a breath, okay? So if God, I mean, we're literally taking in and saying his name over and over again, that breath is important. Can't do anything without it. So this is the kind of things that we want to add into our life. And that list, you know, I have a handout with you guys right here. I'm going to send a sheet around. If you want, I can email you, you know, just, you know, the other practices that we didn't have time to do. It might actually be in the comments. Yeah. But if you want to learn a little bit more about it, I can send you an email about some other practices that I feel are key that I also use to help me renew my mind and have purpose. Okay? So, takeaway strategies. Stress activates biological pathways that impact mental and physical health. Our thoughts, beliefs, and perception largely affect this. The brain can rewire and heal. That's a healthy body supports a healthy mind. Relaxation and mind and mood techniques improve our well-being, incorporate prayer, scripture, or into stress relief practices. So what kind of stress relieving they look like? Some of these things are in the handout. I'm working on a publication now to kind of teach you how to incorporate these into your life a little bit better, how to set goals, what to expect, and learn a little bit more about these things. But time management is really good when it is that you are dealing with chronic stress, because if we're later or frazzled, it doesn't help with the stress response. Say no when it doesn't align with your values or purpose. Anybody have trouble saying no? Like you want to say no and a yes slip out on accident? Say no. Say no. Whatever it is that you have to say, to protect your peace, because God is a God of boundaries, He made boundaries. He don't want everyone advantaging you, okay? He's trying to protect you for your purpose. So sometimes it's just, no, I can't do it. Okay, write 3 things you're grateful for every day. Meditate on relevant scripture. You could go and do this as long as you need to, but come 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day. Visualize yourself. It's a guided imagery technique that we can learn a little bit more about at a later time. But visualize yourself as resilient, able to impact outcomes with God's help. Don't see yourself as a victim of circumstance. Visualize yourself as God called you, someone who is triumphant, and is able to deal with that which you have with His help. Diaphragmatic breathing, deep breathing, 2 to 5 minutes a day will start to shift. You taking a walk in nature, experiencing that awe, getting some exercise up to 30 minutes. But where you start is fine, okay? If you can do 5 minutes of walking, then do 5. Okay, do the 5. If no, you have to work up to things. Don't feel like if you can't push, that you will just sit. Okay, 1 meaningful conversation with a friend. Bad day, call a friend up, and sometimes you just need to connect with someone. A full night's rest, a healthy diet, adequate hydration. This is doable in a day. It doesn't rush the line. It do all of it. But over time it'll get easier, because it's not something that you're gonna have to try to do. It's something that is just now you. And so we can do this. Change is simple. It's not easy, but a better tomorrow it begins today. You get form health and wellness centered communities. Cook around the dominant meals together. Taste each other food. See if curry lentils taste good or not. Okay. Perfect health recipes. And then maybe you could share with me. Move together. Be patient with one another. Show love and care for one another. Find ways to do what you love and live authentically. Don't just keep doing what you hate. Figure out a plan to shift it. Okay? Find meaning and purpose in life and look for the positive. And so we can connect. You could email me if you want my email. I could actually email you. And I could teach you a few more things, send you some documents. If I'm having a workshop, I could inform you. And you could learn and grow in these things. Some of these practices, it takes time. You have to commit it to memory. And so you push a little further. This is the intro. This is just the intro. All right. And our future is bright. And in the words of Dr. Dean Harnish, I would love you guys to join me in trying to eat well, move more, stress less, and love more as we embark on this thing called life. And that is all, folks. I hope you learned something and can take some of these things into your life. And thank you for having me. Oh, any questions?
Can a person have stress? And you might realize that they're in a stressful situation, but they don't acknowledge or realize that they're stressed. Can that happen?
Oh, definitely. Because a lot of times we aim at different things. And then sometimes with let's say from a clinical perspective, the diagnosis of stress, you have to rule out all the other things with that you could test for in the lab or in imaging, blood work, things like that. And it's like you have to rule those out to say this is just stress. But a lot of persons, it's like a continuum. You start off with those I'm faced with the reality that maybe I'm living life in a way that's not sustainable for me. So when you address your friend or your spouse, hey, I
I
think
mean,
you
because,
stress.
as behaviors, I feel like, you would say, well, we're friends. And if I say, well, you're stressed, you stressed it, or why you still stressing? Oh, ain't nothing wrong with me, ain't nothing wrong with me. Wondering, what you
So
just,
you confront them with some of the signs. So what you've been experiencing, how's your body been good? Have you been sleeping well? How are your thoughts? This is where the deep connection comes in. Because you almost have to convince them, right? You almost have to lay out a case like a little lawyer and say, all right, these are the things that are happening and they aren't normal. You're a little snappy lately. And even how you look, you don't look like you. Okay? Sometimes you see their hair falling out and things like that. And you say, okay, I noticing this in the first, tell her, I see this in you and I am concerned. And so when they see that you care, then maybe the guard will come down a little bit and they say, maybe I am, and they speak to the doctor and make sure all is well with them. But that's what you want them to do. You want them to check out their self. You want them to check out their self. And so that's where the connectivity comes in. And for some of us, it'll be life-saving. For some people, someone told you, go check that out, and you went and thank God. Thank God they told me to check it out. And that's the power of relationship. But for some people, it's going to take that deep.
yeah.
They're not going to believe you right away. But you got some stuff to show them now. You could tell them, I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure. Any other questions?
Which, we talked about. I read the other day, that a doctor, a scientist was saying that when you pray for somebody, literally, they can prove it in science, that when you pray for someone, they don't have to be in your presence, but they prove that their brain is firing. The person's brain is literally firing when you are praying for them. This is proven in neuroscience now.
This is a study. This is really study. There are a lot of studies on prayer because it's a concept that isn't well understood, but it's documented. So we had a whole segment on prayer at the big conference I went to in Orlando on lifestyle medicine last year. And they had to literally discuss this at a conference with 4,000 people because, well, it works. Persons who are prayed for, they do better in surgery. They have better surgical outcomes. They live longer, even when they're diagnosed with a condition. And you're like, how is this doing this? And so some people, they just start prayer practices because of the fact that it's been proven to work and they believe in science primarily. And so they just go for it. They say, well, I don't know, I'm just going to pray because it works. But what it does. And so we have to acknowledge that. And as Christians, we should be using it as a weapon. Of course, it is a form of meditation. We're talking to God. It is for us. But we start to shift in our own internal world when we pray. We start to believe the things that we're saying, or we reprogram our mind with the prayer. But then there's also that impact on that other person that is, well, it's true. God designed us like that. I figure science proved it, we might as well. We might as well go with it.
Say they were going through and they knew when the shit happened, and
Yeah.
someone will tell them later. They say, okay, that's the time. I need to go pray. They may not know in that moment.
Yeah.
But you happen to talk to them later.
Just the same time I started to feel better. At the same time that I got a wave of peace. And a lot of us might have experienced things like this. When I was in the hospital, I remember saying, I don't know, it feels like people are praying for me. It feels like a lot of people, and some people here was praying for me when I was in the hospital, and I just felt that peace. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. Some of those days were very, very difficult, but for some reason it was a wave of peace that I couldn't explain. And so you got to wake up in the middle of the night, pray for that person. Pray for that person. And then try to get back to sleep at 7 and 9 hours.
should be living a life of gratitude every day, every hour of the day. And exercise, exercise classes, church. So we have no excuse for exercising, but we have to make the effort to do what we need to do. So thank you for sharing and reminding us of what we need to do to relieve our stress and how important it is to relieve stress. And so thank you for being here with us. And this is a little token of our appreciation. So no, I'm not gonna say anything else.